tell me about your dead romances. I watched your procession of men go through, how you used them and how quickly they disappeared.
I am your mother. I gave you life and raised you. I put you before everything and everyone. Don't you dare speak to me as though I were a common tramp.
Good morning.
Oh, it is a good morning. Look how lovely. That haze out on the lawn.
We call that fog, honey.
Oh, swirling up like angels in the oak trees.
You must have yourself a case of the vapors, darling. It's a grand old southern disease. It dampens the brain and rusts up the works. Just runs rampant among little old maids.
I beg your pardon?
And youthful divorcees. The only known cure is wedding bells. But then, of course, me now. I may be a terminal case, but you... You look like $1,000,000 in bullion.
Oh, Rena. Last night I was a girl again. Proud and beautiful and new. Alex took on the whole club at the top of the world just for the two of us. He'd arranged a surprise. We danced and talked. Ah, the two of us, all alone. He loves me. I don't know why, but he does. I used to think it was just an agreeable mistake. But he has watched me lie, pout, rant, rave, and still, he loves me.
Well, he better. I'd have him tarred and feathered if he didn't.
It's because of you, really, that we're together again. Because of you that this week, our wedding, will be like the last mile of a very long journey. Like coming home.
Iris, I don't mean to be a wet blanket, but what about Elliot? Isn't he going to be kind of like a fly in the ointment?
Alex took care of that, too. Elliot's leaving town.
Then you told him that Dennis wasn't his.
He knows.
Oh, so he's going to make like a martyr and bow out, hmm? Tell me another, honey.
He is. That's what he told Alex.
Oh, well then, honey, it must be true, of course.
Well, Alex thinks so. Though he did tell me not to ask what exactly they had discussed. Oh, all right. I'll find out for myself. Perhaps he can fool Alex, but he can't fool me.
Carrington. Fine, Iris. And you? Looking forward to your wedding, I presume?
Yes, I am, Elliot. In fact, that's why I'm calling. I wondered about your plans.
Well, I won't be spoiling it for you if that's what you're asking. Haven't you spoken to your intended? Wheeler and I reached an agreement. I'll be leaving Houston.
Then it's true. I mean, Alex said you might, but
Iris, I'm sorry. I really can't talk now. Not here, you know, at the station. I would like to, if only to say goodbye. Won't you meet me? Have a last with me? It would mean so much.
I'm sorry, Elliot. I really don't think... I mean, I have so much to do today, you see.
You don't want to risk another tete-a-tete with the monster.
No, not at all. It's just that...
Admit it, Iris. The last time I saw you, I behaved like Jack the Ripper, baring my teeth, throwing you about. It's a wonder you didn't have me immured for life in a padded cell.
Well, I can hardly claim to be blameless. I should have found a better way to tell you.
It was, Iris. Shock. Hurt. Disillusionment stings like nothing else.
I know.
And can you forgive me the rest? The theatrics. Surely you know all the threats were nothing but bluster. the things we do to save face. Please. I'm resigned to it now. Don't make me leave with this thing still looming between us. You'll meet me? Top of the World Club? You don't think I turn into a werewolf in public, do you?
All right, Elliot. I'll meet you there. What time?
Noon. I'll see you then. And Iris. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Now, what were you saying about Elliot not getting around you?
Penitent. That's the key. She doesn't know. Wheeler's kept it to himself. He'll take it to his grave.
No, I mean it. And nobody's going to take you away from me. No ragged, empty-eyed ghost from some stinking jungle. No Texas billionaire. That's why I can't ever let you find out what it was like in that prison camp. What went on. Not from me, and not from...
Come on, all you red-blooded Texans, sing it out! The eyes of Texas are upon you.
What is it? Make them shut it off. Shut what off? That song!
You cannot get...
Stop it! Stop it!
Sit down. Stop staring at me. People are staring at us now.
I had to do it. I had to do it. No, leave me alone. Leave me alone.
You all the live long day. Dad? I was worried. What happened to you last night?
I'm supposed to be thrilled about this, huh? Yeah, I just love the country. All that fresh air and dirty dishes. I mean, you'd think I'd beat her up myself. Of course, it's okay for Max to manhandle me. And just where have you been moseying in here late for breakfast?
Morning, ma'am.
Well, now I suppose you want me to fix you a half-dozen eggs, huh? Well, tough luck.
Eggs. Let's see. What are those things? They come from chickens, don't they? They're little egg-shaped things, and
Yes, little egg-shaped things.
right. They're yellow in the inside and white on the... You put them in your beer.
No, you put them next to your grits. How many do you want?
Oh, I eat them raw. But it's nice to know that you can cook them, though. Of course, after last night, I thought Kate was going to lose her #1 cook and chief dishwasher.
Almost. And don't think I'd be here for a minute if I had someplace else to go.
I don't.
Hey, I heard you stood up to Max for me.
Ah, you heard wrong.
No, I didn't. Tough guy. I thought you didn't like me.
Look, I don't know what all that hollering was. I just told him to start using his head instead of his mouth, and you there could use with the same advice.
Just what I need is more advice.
Look, I saddled up one of those horses this morning, and it showed me around the homestead. I mean, it really showed me around out there. Elena, you have got a great place here. Now, I'd hate to see your brother drive you off just because he forgot how to listen.
Yeah, but they don't understand, Max or Ricky. Only you, Jeb. You're the only one.
Well, maybe, little girl. I wonder.
Decisions aren't mine to make. My sentence has been handed down by Mr. Wheeler.
Wheeler's trying to force you to leave? Look, Dad, you don't have to take that from him.
Well, there's nothing else I can do. I just wanted you to know that it's not my choosing.
That doesn't make any sense. I mean, how could Wheeler... Oh, yeah. Mrs. Bellman's his friend. Did he threaten to get you fired from KVIK?
Yes. Yes, that's right.
Well, so what? There are plenty of jobs. He can't close every door in Houston.
Oh, yes, he can. He's got money, contacts, power.
Oh, yeah, well, I've got a little power myself, too, and I'm gonna use it, believe me.
Dennis, don't go to Wheeler. He'll fill you with all sorts of lies.
Look, I'm not gonna let the two of them run my life. Or yours.
Iris?
Yeah. Either Mom calls him off, or she's gonna live to regret it.
All right, son. Do what you like with your mother. But leave Wheeler to me.
You picked the strangest places to hide.
Well, you always find me there, don't you?
Oh, are you ready to go, or did you forget?
I got the leaky heart blues.
You know, you are lousy patient, but you're a lot of fun, although I'm not really very big on heart jokes.
Heart, what are you doing with me? I'm the biggest heart joke here in town.
You've been working.
I've been killing time.
What are you writing?
Writing simple stuff. I used to write about the meaning of life, you know, real heavy stuff. But then everybody that I counted on started killing themselves, and I couldn't hear the music anymore. But around here, music, in Austin stuff, it's nice. It's people don't fall so hard. It's simpler, except for a few people.
A few? I think maybe you mean...
Elena.
You're not being fair, Jeb. You can't just dislike Elena because she looks like somebody out of your past.
Wait, hold on just a second here. I didn't say anything about dislike, Courtney. What I'm saying is that she has got something going on inside of her, something that is going to drive her right to the edge, unless somebody helps her deal with that, now.
Somebody.
Look, I've been there, all right? I know what she is going through.
You're really worried about her, aren't you?
Well, somebody should be. I mean, nobody else around here cares.
Well, no, I don't think you should. Elena and her brothers fight all the time. But then maybe you see something the rest of us don't.
Yeah, I do. I see myself. Look, some people, they're just born with thick skin. I mean, the worst thing in the world can happen to them, and it just doesn't affect them. And you ask them how, why that is. You know what they say? I don't know. They start talking about exercise, nutrition.
Heart valves.
Heart valves, right. Look, you were born rich, all right? You got all the answers. But you don't have the questions. And us poor slobs that are miserable and don't know why, all you can say is, let's run them down for some tests.
Look, you know, this might come as some news to you, but we simpletons have tempers. Now, I'm not as blind or as bland as you think, but if you want to be miserable, fine. You just go right ahead. But don't you look down your nose at anyone else.
I'm not doing that. Courtney, you are different. Now, come on. Admit that, all right? Now, you're a woman that knows exactly what she wants. You could probably leap tall buildings in a single bound. You're nothing like her.
Like who? Suzanne?
Suzanne, Elena, both of them. They want something out of life, something that just it doesn't have a name. They want something that other folks have got, that they think other folks have got. It's just not there. You understand that? I mean, but they gotta go, they gotta move, they gotta have it now. You know, and they try, they get kicked back a few times, pushed back a few times, and then they go after it twice as hard until they go too far, and then they do not come back.
You really loved her, didn't you?
Oh, Suzanne? She didn't think so.
And Elena?
Elena? Wait a minute, what are you talking about? Love, it takes a very strong heart for that. I haven't got that. Love. Love. Too burned out for that.
You talk like an old man.
People are growing up these days, didn't you know that? I'll tell you what, though, I mean, if love was in the cards for me, it would not be with another girl like Suzanne. It would be like somebody strong, solid, real storybook woman.
Oh, you mean the kind that goes around kissing frogs, turning them into princes?
That's right, Princess.
I was just on my way out. I don't really have time to talk to you yet. Stop it. What's the matter with you?
What are you trying to do?
What? Nothing.
To my father?
Elliot?
Oh, you remember his name?
Well, nothing. Oh, Dennis, what did he say to you? I told you how unsteady.
You're a liar, Mom. Why do you have to lie so much?
Watch your tongue.
Watch your own. What do you think I am? I came here hoping that you'd give me an answer. I asked you the other day why Dad had to see Wheeler, but no. You had no idea.
That was between Alex and Elliot. I wasn't told the details.
Oh, yeah, well, then let me give you the gist of it. Wheeler is trying to chase Dad out of town.
I see.
Well, you don't seem surprised. Or is it that you just don't care?
Dennis, you think you know what you're dealing with here, but you don't. Not really.
Oh, come on, Mom, there's no mystery to it.
Listen to me. Leave it alone. Let Alex and Elliot settle this between themselves.
Fine. I'd let them settle it between themselves if Dad had a choice. But he doesn't. He's got an ultimatum. Well, Mom? Come on. Are you proud of your boyfriend?
You're wrong. Alex wouldn't go that far. Elliot's playing on your sympathy.
Why would a man who'd steal his son, not try to take a man's job away from him?
Look, Alex is not trying to steal you, Dennis. He feels rightly that he has some claim to you.
Oh, great. Next thing I know, you'll be calling him my father.
Well, would that really be so terrible?
Oh, you amaze me. You know that? You really do. You think the whole world, past, present, and future, is going to recreate itself for your lousy wedding. Well, I hate to be the one to disappoint your mom and break the news, but that's not going to happen. I have one father, and only one. And you can't change that no matter who you marry.
I know. Believe me, I know that.
And stop pretending that Dad doesn't exist. You know what he's been through. How can you sit back and let Wheeler pounce to finish him off?
Dennis, I don't want to hurt Elliot, but, well, look, all I can say to you is that you don't know what the issue is here.
Oh, yes, I do. The issue is power. The issue is who's going to run my life, me or Wheeler. You've heard his ultimatum. Now you hear mine. Either you stop Wheeler, or don't expect to see me at your wedding, or any time after that. Because if he chases Dad out of town, I might just go with him.
Well, how about it, Justin? When I say I'm going to deliver, I deliver.
All right. All right, so far, so good. This wedding invitation will get us past the security guards, not much else. Unless you want to, attend the festivities, I think I'll pass on that. What else have you got?
The keys to the kingdom.
Oh, Dennis, you can't mean that. You can't leave me now on the eve of my wedding.
You gonna stop him?
Well, what about Dawn? You'll be leaving her, too.
She won't care.
Well, of course you... Just stay. Stay. I mean, you won't have to so much as speak to Alex. I promise. Not until you're ready.
All I want, Mom, is an answer. That's all.
I don't deserve this. I don't deserve to be punished. I can't. I can't interfere, Dennis.
But you can interfere with my life. And you can interfere with Dad's. Is that all you're gonna say?
It's unfair. And you are ungrateful. Everything I've done has been for you.
I
Everything,
came here
Dennis,
praying, Mom, that this was some scheme of Wheeler's you had nothing to do with. But I can see by the look on your face that I was right. You're as bad as he is, you know that? What he did to Dawn's father, you're doing to mine. He didn't want people to remember where he came from. And you don't want people to think that I came from anything less than a millionaire.
Oh, that's not so. You have always carried Elliot's name, and you always will. I'm not ashamed of that. I loved him once.
Oh, come on, Mom, I was there, remember?
All right. But I tried to. I wanted to be a good wife.
That's not the way I recall it.
Well, you were too young to understand.
But I got older. Don't tell me about your dead romances. I watched your procession of men go through, how you used them and how quickly they disappeared.
I am your mother. I gave you life and raised you. I put you before everything and everyone. Don't you dare speak to me as though I were a common tramp.
Sorry, Mom, I didn't mean... You're beautiful.
No. I'm nothing without you.
You're proud, and you're beautiful. Of course, men have loved you. How could they help it? And I love you too, Mom.
We've been through so much together. I couldn't have lived through it all without you. Time and again, I tell myself, you have to be strong. You have to do what has to be done. For Dennis, I wanted everything for you.
And all I wanted... I don't know. Was a home.
I know. And I'm still trying to give you one. Oh, baby. Can you remember anything at all about when you were little? You were so sick. Poor thing. I was afraid there was some kind of curse on me. That everything I touched would... Remember the afternoons we read together?
Shakespeare and Browning, wasn't it?
Well, I didn't know what to read to a child.
And when you weren't there, Dad read to me.
Mostly things he'd written. I just wish...
What?
Just wish that you and me and Dad could be together again.
Oh, Dennis, I want that too. More than anything.
Then why?
Well, I mean, I want a family for us, but...
Oh, come on, Mom. Just don't say it. No more. Look, I've been here long enough.
Don't leave me.
My father needs me. I'm sorry.
I need you.
But I'm the only one he has. I've got to go.
Dennis, wait. Please. My wedding day to Alex should be the happiest day of my life. But if you're not there, it will be misery.
Look, you heard what I said, Mom.
No, look, it's too late, Dennis. I can't. No, wait, look, I'll try, I promise.
That's not good enough.
All right, I will do it somehow. I'll see that Elliot stays. And will you stay too?
Yeah.
You'll be my escort at the wedding?
Yeah. Yes, Mom. I'd like that.
Oh,
Wheeler's private elevator key.
I recognize him.
When Wheeler fired me, I handed over my office key ring, but not my spare. Do you know what that key means? Fair skies and clear sailing. So you meet me in the garage the night of the wedding, and it'll be straight up to Wheeler's office. It'll be empty. They'll all be up in the club, sniffling into their hankies and throwing rice.
What about the file keys?
Oh, man, that's the breeziest job of them all. I mean, I can lift them from Terry anytime, no problem. We'll have them, don't worry. Hey, why so glum? I mean, it couldn't be any easier if Wheeler opened the closet and introduced you to the skeletons himself.
Yeah. Yeah, it's easy, all right. You're practically pushing me. You are pushing me.
Hey, man, you know my angle. I just want to see the man get his comeuppance just like you do. I thought we had a deal.
Did you ever hear me tell you yes? Not maybe, or that sounds good, or how about that? Did I ever say yes?
Look, if I thought you were going to get cold feet on me, I never would have stuck my neck out for the wedding invitations. But I'd always heard you were the real McCoy. A hardcore getting-even man who wouldn't fret over a little risk as long as he could hit Wheeler where it hurts. But I guess there's not a whole lot I can do about it if you're going to turn panty waist on me.
I told you to watch it once. Well, you watch it. It's not the risk that bothers me. I can take the risk, but I am sure as hell not playing into your hand. Friend. Whatever it is. After all, that's how you got your nickname, isn't it, Clipper? You hit from behind. You waiting for me, Elliot?
What? Oh, Justin, no. As a matter of fact, I was just on my way to lunch.
Well, good, good. Go ahead, enjoy it.
Do my best.
You were saying?
Nothing. You want to pull out? Pull out. But if you think you're going to get a better shot at digging up Wheeler's dirt, you're going to have a long way. And me? I mean, I don't see how you can resist it. Here he is. The man at the perfect time of his life. Just ready to say I do with the altar. And one story down, you're planning him a solo honeymoon in the slam. Hard to beat, don't you think?
Well, the timing is right. I'll give you that.
I'd like to think I picked up a little style at the top of the World Club.
Picked up a little stealth, too, didn't you?
Come again?
Why do I have this nagging feeling, Flipper, that you're up to something? Something beyond your helping me with my plans for Alex Wheeler?
Beats me. I mean, I'm just a simple soul myself.
Yes. That's been your one saving grace. I do believe you are simple.
Always kidding, aren't you? You're a real card, Justin.
Well, I can take care of myself. And I suspect whatever it is you have up your sleeve, it won't matter in the long run. I'll have all I want. And you can just play out your little intrigue. What will I care?
You think whatever makes you happy.
There is just one last thing. If by some odd chance this game turns out to be a double cross, you will regret it. And you won't have long.
Hey, that goes without saying. Hey, man, listen. I don't mind taking a risk or two myself. But I'm sure not going to risk my neck by running afoul of you.
Good. Good. I like that. Respect. Now, once again, how does it go? I meet you in the world-building garage just before the wedding.
Right. I'll have Terry's keys, and I'm sure you'll want to bring along some kind of camera.
Yes, camera.
Sure. I mean, you can be going through Wheeler's dirty linen while I'm upstairs in the club at the wedding covering for you. I want to make sure nobody surprises you.
Sounds good.
I haven't heard you say yes.
All right. All right. Yes. We have a deal.
Another drink, please.
Certainly.
Iris?
No, thank you. I'm sorry I'm late.
Oh, not at all. I just got here myself. I was detained at the office.
I was detained at home by Dennis. Why, Elias?
If you don't care for an aperitif, shall we proceed to the dining room?
I've lost my appetite.
Odd, so have I. Think it's contagious. Was Dennis difficult?
Enraged. What did you say to him?
And did you inform Mr. Wheeler of your visit?
Can't you answer a simple question?
Did you report to Wheeler? Answer me.
No. Why? Surely you're not afraid of him.
I just wondered how fast and how far his surveillance. Perhaps I am afraid of him. Perhaps I have reason to be.
I don't know. He wouldn't discuss you with me except to say that you were leaving.
Well, That's all I told Dennis. That your husband-to-be had asked me to leave town, or he'd personally attend to my ruin in the news business.
Then it's true. I didn't believe Dennis.
So the choice is a life here without a livelihood, or a livelihood elsewhere without a life. Sticky, huh? Wheeler wants to protect you and Dennis from me. But Iris, you must know I didn't mean the things I said. I wouldn't hurt you.
Yes, I know that now, Elliot, but then...
You had just taken a handful of words and erased 25 years of my life. Did you think I'd be polite? What do the books of etiquette recommend for finding out your son is someone else's? Black tie, napkin rings, finger bowls? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. Don't you think I'm entitled to a little indulgence?
Yes, I do. And I take all the blame, Elliot. When I married you, I was hysterical because I was desperate. But I was wrong. Deluded and selfish. But right or wrong, how can things go on as they are? Alex and I and you and Dennis in the same town. How can any of us keep our sanity?
How can I keep mine any other way? Did you think knowing the facts would change my feelings? It doesn't. I have a lasting affection for you, Iris. It can't just be switched off. And Dennis. Still feels like mine. It was still his face that brought me back from that.
I know.
I'm not a boy, Iris. I need a place of my own, people of my own. Don't let Wheeler take away what little I have.
I'm sorry. I've waited too long for this. I can't give it up now, Elliot. I'm sorry.
Dennis still thinks of me as his father. Sending me away may only make it worse.
Yes, I've been made very aware of that.
Then instead of severing us like this, why not try to wean us apart? Slowly, not so sudden. We'll get used to each other, Dennis and I. There won't be this desperation. Perhaps he'll even get tired of me.
Yes, that might do.
A few weeks. Ask Wheeler to back away for just a few weeks.
Would you promise to start right away? To make plans, find a new job, a new home?
I swear it. All I need to make things right is a little more time.
All right. I'll speak to Alex. But Alex, don't you see? It's Dennis, too. Elliot doesn't seem to know, but he can take Dennis from us. If he leaves town now, our son will follow. I'm sure of it.
Elliot knows better. I told him not to meddle. I told him I could have him sent somewhere. Dennis couldn't follow. He knows that he wouldn't be back.
Frightens me to hear you talk like that. I don't want him hurt, Alex.
Iris, he's not the kind of man you think he is.
He was my husband. And he helped raise Dennis. I feel sorry for him. He really has no one. Nothing. He gave me his promise that he would leave in a few weeks. It's the least I can do to make up for what I've taken from him. Please, Alex, let him keep his job here in Houston for a while.
His job? He said I threatened his job.
Didn't you?
Well, I suppose that's as close an approximation as he can find. Iris, you know, what you're asking is just postponing the inevitable.
Then postpone it, please. Oh, I know. You have given me so many things, but I've only asked for this. Because, Alex, if Dennis won't come to our wedding, if I should never see my boy again, well, Alex, that would break me.
All right. I'll do anything for you, you know that. Anything.
Well, I'm, already cutting a little bit more than I can handle. I mean,
Oh, yeah?
yeah. You don't want to know nothing about it, though. I mean, just knowing's bad news.
Wouldn't have nothing to do with that rifle you got stowed in my trailer, would it?
I told you, boy, you don't want to know about it.
Yeah, that's right, I don't. But you got that thing stowed in my trailer. That violates my parole just as much as it does yours. And if you're just storing it there, that's one thing. But if you're planning to blow some poor sucker away with it, that's something...
Ain't no poor sucker, man. Just happens to be Alex.
He was my husband. And he helped raise Dennis. I feel sorry for him. He really has no one. Nothing. He gave me his promise that he would leave in a few weeks. It's the least I can do to make up for what I've taken from him. Please, Alex, let him keep his job here in Houston for a while.
Terry, get me Alan Greenwood in Bangkok. You have his hotel room number. Iris tells me how irrational, how you clung to Dennis as if he was some sort of absolution, as if he were going to justify what you had to do to survive in that camp. What was it, Elliot, that you had to do when you came back? What did you have to do?
That was another universe. It had its own laws. The men who lived there were aliens.
Those were men.
There's no point. It's beyond anything you can think or feel. You can't comprehend.
But Dennis can. I'm a man who gets answers from his questions. I think you'll be interested to know that I've just had news today from Bangkok, and there's a man in a Thai hospital they say was in your prison camp.
I don't believe you. What's his name?
I could just make the phone call. I could have him questioned. Or I could have him brought here.
No!
Oh. All right. Besides, I think that we both know what he would say. It's so...
All right, Terry, put him through. Yes, Alan, there is a change. No, stay there. Find your witness, and find out what L.A. Carrington did in Cambodia, all right? And I want you to get his full statement. That's right. Now, you hang on to him, and you sit tight. I want you to lose the man. Now, don't take any other action until you hear from me again. No, we're just going to be on hold for a while. I'll be in touch, all right? It's a mistake. I know it was a mistake. There's no place for a man like Carrington in my son's life. He doesn't know that. Yet. But making him know it is too much of a chance. It would break Iris's heart. No, not on our wedding day.
Don't give me any more back talk, Elena. You get yourself to school and don't be late.
Having a little tiff with your sister, huh? Now, how could anybody with Decker blood flowing through their veins be anything but sweet-tempered and easy to get along with?
Well, now that I think about it, that is surprising, huh?
Well, don't think about it too hard, honey. You may have to take a long, hard look how your little sister is just a chip off of her big brother.
That's where you're wrong. Now, I'm a lovable, peaceable, aim-to-please kind of guy. I even cleared that trail to the cabin just like you asked me to.
Gosh, I thought I'd have to ask a whole lot more before that ever got done.
Well, maybe because that's, you asked me so sweet. Yeah. Besides, I knew you were coming back from the big city. And I couldn't stand the thought of that, those mean old saplings getting in your way. Oh, by the way, how did you find Justin?
Out.
Wasted trip, huh?
I told you I was going to town on business, honey.
I told you. I figured it was Justin business.
Well, you figured wrong. You're looking at the newest member of the KVIK Board of Directors, and that's why I was in town.
My, Board of Directors. I always thought someone on the Board of the Directors would be at least twice your age and have just a mite more experience in the business world.
Well, don't worry about my lack of experience, honey. I know what I'm doing. As far as my age, though, you're right there. When that collection of gray-haired old ladies and pot-bellied gentlemen found out that my daddy had nominated me to take his place, well, Lord, I thought I'd have to revive him off with smelling salts.
Your daddy nominated you, huh? Yeah, that's about right. Anything little Rena wants. KVIK, your newest toy?
I'm not playing, honey. Besides, haven't you heard? KVIK is Vicky's toy. For me to get a hold of that, I'd have to get the board of directors to agree to take it away from her. And they need a mighty powerful reason for doing that. Of course, I don't imagine an upstanding group of people like the KVIK board of directors would want to have any public scandal brought down on KVIK.
Lord knows you'd never want to see any scandal, would you, Rena?
Oh, no. I'd do everything I could to prevent it. But you see, my mother does have this rather disgraceful drinking problem. Of course, we'd do everything we could to hush it up, but if it should happen to come out, well...
You're talking about your mother, girl.
Unfortunately.
You would do that to your own mother?
Oh, come on, Max. Don't come down on me again. I mean, the next thing you'll start out on Mom's apple pie. I gotta tell you that too much apple pie gives you an indigestion real bad. And all I need is a little bit of dear old Mom and I get a stomachache.
She's still your mother.
Was my mother. made that choice 20 years ago. She walked right out on Stryker and me. Well, I think it's a little late for a mother and daughter act now. Well, what are you looking at? She left me. She never loved me. Why should I care about her?
Well, what about the fourth commandment? Honor thy mother and father.
Please.
If you don't honor them, you're doing dishonor to yourself. You come from them, Rena. They're part of you, your mother and your father. Whatever you do to them, you're doing to yourself.
Honey, if I thought that I was any part of my mother, I think I'd jump into the Houston ship channel. No, she deserves to get whatever she gets. She deserves to lose KVIK. Deserves to know what it feels like to be down and out. Queen Victoria deserves to fall down from her precious little throne.
Come in.
Kevin?
Courtney. Well, do I make you uncomfortable?
It's unsettling to be so close to what you want.
And yet so far.
Kevin, there's a great deal that I want that I can't have. But anyway, I'm really here on business. I came to tell you that Jeb Hampton is finishing up on his last test.
See, well, where is he now?
He's an X-ray.
Is that all? Is that all you wanted to tell me?
No. Kevin, I want to tell you that I want to be alone with you. Alone. I don't care what we promised my grandmother. I want to be alone with you, even if it's just for a moment.
Our reporters have been trying to nose in on this landlord arson thing for months now. You've only been in Houston a short time, and you've already got it.
I have ways.
Well, keep up the good work. You know, you've more than lived up to my expectations.
As a reporter.
Of course.
But you had some further expectations, hadn't you?
Oh, yes.
I'm sorry. Truly sorry.
Please, Elliot, there's no need for apologies. Or even regrets. It seems we can't change the course of true love.
Well, we can certainly try, but we don't always succeed. I understand the wedding is to be on Friday. A day that will live in infamy.
I wouldn't go quite that far. We'll all survive. I don't know how or why, but we will.
Excuse me. Carrington.
Mr. Carrington, this is Alex Wheeler's office.
Yes, just a moment, please.
Thank you, Elliot.
Thank you, Vicki. Yes.
Yes, Mr. Wheeler would like to see you. He's asked me to say that there are some new developments to discuss since your last conversation.
Very well.
Could you come to his office this afternoon at 3?
I'll be tied up here until around 6, and not in his office. That's an experience I don't care to repeat. I'll be at the top of the World Club bar for a drink around 6:30.
Just a minute, please. Alex, he won't come here. He wants to meet you in the club.
All right.
That'll be fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
to be alone with you two.
Oh, don't tell me, Kevin. Not in words. Just...
Courtney, please. You know what feels right isn't always right. We made a promise. We're breaking that promise. That's wrong.
That promise wasn't made in blood, Kevin. We're free to choose any time we decide that it was a mistake to go along with her.
Courtney, please. Please, you must understand. Courtney, what we have is very strange to your grandmother. She wants to be sure that what we have is tried and true. She wants to be sure that you don't get hurt.
Hurt? Being separated from you doesn't just hurt, Kevin. It's torture. I lie in bed at night, every night. I want you so bad I can't think straight. And you seem to care more about what my grandmother feels.
Oh, Courtney, I care about you. About us. About our life together. I really do. But Kate is right. Our life together includes people who care about us. We have to think about them.
All right. Let's think about other people. I'll go get Jeb.
Courtney, wait, please. Courtney.
What else is there to say?
This.
This is what I was trying to say, Kevin, but you said...
Yes, I know. I said we have to think about other people.
Nothing's happened in the last 10 seconds to change that.
I'm sorry, I'm not very good at keeping this kind of thing in perspective.
Still, you're right. You're right. About keeping our word. There's no such thing as a part-time honest person. Either you are or you aren't, and you are. That might make things seem difficult now. But the way you keep your word to Grandma Kate is the way that you'll always keep it to me. It's nice to know I can trust you completely. Now and later when we're married.
It's just that it's painful to wait, isn't it? Well, we won't have to wait too long.
We won't?
I heard from Rena's attorney. The divorce should be final by the end of December. We can get married right away. Of course, if that's what you want.
If that's what I want, Kevin, you're the master of understatement. At the end of December, we can be married by New Year's. If that's what you want.
I want what you want. A very, very happy New Year.
Hey, Daddy.
Hi.
You lonesome, honey?
Now, listen, you know what I told you, baby. I'm a big boy now. A couple hours alone isn't gonna hurt me. Besides, I had plenty to do. I was reading, and I went for a walk out in the air, and I even had some company.
Mystery guest?
Well, I wouldn't say he was that mysterious. Really rather down to earth, come to think of it. He was a friend of yours, by the way.
Oh, and you're not going to tell me who?
A man named Max Decker.
Friend of mine? That's debatable. What did Max want?
Oh, nothing much.
Well, why did he come around then? He must have wanted something. He was here yesterday.
I reckon he wanted to see me. You know, Max and I go back a long ways. His daddy, Tom Decker, and I used to go hunting in the old days. Little Max would tag along with us.
That's all you talked about, huh? The old days?
You know, if I didn't know better, I would say that you were disappointed about that. Was there anything in particular that my little girl was hoping we'd talked about?
What do I care what you were talking about? I'm just surprised you were able to have a conversation with a man, that's all. He's such a pain in the neck.
Oh, I don't agree with you. I've always liked the boy, and I like the fine young man he's grown into even more.
Well, I find him cantankerous. I mean, he argues with me everything under the sun.
And, of course, you never argue back, or even start those arguments in the first place. Huh?
No, it was always Max Decker. He was always griping about one thing or another that wasn't any of his business. I mean, how I ride my horse, how I spend my time with my friend I mean, even what I think of my own mother.
Vicky? I didn't even know he even knew her.
He doesn't. He was still heaping on all that honor thy mother hogwash anyway.
Well, if I know Max, he had called to. Now, what were you saying?
I told you, Daddy, nothing that was any of his business. I just started talking about the board of directors and how I thought that it wouldn't be such a bad idea if Mother were to lose KVIK.
Lose KVIK? What makes you think that she's going to lose KVIK?
Daddy, I didn't say she was going to. I just said that it probably would be a good idea for all the parties involved if she did.
What parties are those, if you don't mind my asking?
Well, honey, the stockholders, the board of directors, the viewing public, just to name a few.
I can think of one party that wouldn't be helped at all by that. Victoria Bellman. She's lost me, she's lost you, she's lost Alex Wheeler. KVIK is about all she's got left now.
Well, she's not going to have it for much longer, not if she keeps soaking up the booze like she was a thirsty sponge. Come on, Daddy. Come on. I've got better things to do than to be talking about my mother. I've got dinner to fix for my daddy, which is a whole lot more than she ever did for either one of us.
I swear. I ain't never tasted nothing like that before in my life. You really got a nice touch with this stuff.
Shoot, boy, I told you got a class act up here, didn't I?
Only I don't get it. If you're a partner, like you say, what are you doing working the bar?
I told you I was on my way to being a partner. There's a big difference, you know. I mean, if you're gonna get anywhere in this world, you gotta learn to pay attention, you know? Look for them fine details and the meaning of what people are trying to tell you.
Well, anyway, I know you got some kind of pull, because they wasn't even gonna let me into this place until I mentioned your name.
Billy Joe Wright. 3 magic words that'll open doors to just about any establishment in this old town, buddy. Trust me.
Listen, Billy Joe Wright.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
You might find the doors to this establishment closing behind you permanently unless you cut the gab and get to work.
I don't let my customers want for nothing, Miss Marshall.
Far be it from me to impugn the work of one so dedicated. It's just that the top of the world is not the place to be entertaining your, guests. Junior, what is that?
Well, this here's a little specialty of mine. You know, I invented it myself. I call it the Hawaiian Delight of Billy Joe Wright. That's dark rum, light rum, coconut milk, and a splash of beer just to give a little fizz.
Oh, sounds delectable.
Ma'am, I have never tasted anything like it in my life.
Haha, not surprised. Listen, Junior. We don't want to deprive our other guests of your creative genius, now do we, huh?
No, that's fair.
Okay. Then I suggest you tell your friend your adieu and get your tail in motion.
Well, I guess I better hit the road. I don't want to get you in any kind of trouble.
Hey, man, stay here. That broad couldn't get me in any trouble. She's manager for now, but she's going to be out in her ear before she knows it.
That's too bad. She is one nice-looking lady.
Yeah, that's what I thought at first. On the outside, she's as ripe as a plum in August. But on the inside, it's sour grapes and lemons. Oh, hell, I don't need her. I got more broads up here than I know what to do with, you know? You know, rich ones. And their husbands are off busy all the time with them big oil deals. You know, all that sort of stuff. Yes, sir. What'll it be?
Scotch and water, please.
Sir.
Thank you.
Sir. Yes, sir, Bernie, I'll tell you. Every night it's, what are you doing after work, Billy Joe?
Then, how come you ain't living with some rich broad out in River Oaks by now instead of holding up with me in my trailer?
Well,
listen, Billy Joe. If you want more bras than you know what to do with, I got a deal for you. It just so happens that this deal will make us more bucks than we know what to do with, too.
Oh, yeah? You mean like getting paid for doing our little favors for the members of the opposite sex, huh?
Not exactly. When you got the time, I'll tell you about it. Little sideline I got worked up. If it wasn't for that stinking parole, I'd be doing it full time instead of selling used tractors out in Sugar Land. If you want, I'll cut you in.
Well, I'm, already cutting a little bit more than I can handle. I mean,
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. You don't want to know nothing about it, though. I mean, just knowing's bad news.
Wouldn't have nothing to do with that rifle you got stowed in my trailer, would it?
I told you, boy, you don't want to know about it.
Yeah, that's right, I don't. But you got that thing stowed in my trailer. That violates my parole just as much as it does yours. And if you're just storing it there, that's one thing. But if you're planning to blow some poor sucker away with it, that's something...
Ain't no poor sucker, man. It just happens to be Alex Wheeler.
Who's that? Is that guy you were talking about the other day?
Yipper. He just happened to be the richest man in Houston, maybe all of Texas.
Then you're a lot crazier than I thought you were, Billy Joe. And I want you and that rifle out of my trailer.
Hey, listen, man, I'm not gonna kill anybody. Bernie, I'm not gonna shoot anybody. It's just one of those, well, you know what I was telling you about. It's a fake assassination plot, you know? I mean, it's something that my boss thought up, you know? I don't know, I guess he knows what he's doing, you know?
That still sounds crazy to me, and you ought to get yourself out of it.
Man, I know it's crazy. I know it's crazy, man. I'm trying to get out, but I can't. That curse has got something on me, and he won't let me out. I'm like painted into a corner. I mean, if I do it, I go to Huntsville. And even if I don't do it, I go to Huntsville. Bernie, let me tell you something. The whole thing scares the hell out of me.
Kevin and I have consulted, Jeb.
Oh, yeah? So what's it gonna be? The rack? Drawing and quartering?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, come on. I don't know how to turn him off. Jeb, you knew this was probably going to lead to surgery. Now, nobody's forcing you. You can live without it, but not as well.
What's the matter with the way I'm living?
Well, you're always talking about how you love to play and you love to fight, and you can do a lot more of both if you know your heart isn't going to give out on you.
And after surgery, we're going to exercise you to beg for mercy. Rebuild your strength up. Eventually, you'll be able to live a completely normal life, as though you'd never been ill at all.
Well, it's gonna take more than going under the knife to make me normal.
Jeb, be serious. Surely you realize we're recommending what we think is best for you.
I know that. I'm not sure.
You're not sure about what?
Going under the knife. I mean, it's not just something that you jump into. Will it work? What if it doesn't? Will I die? Does it matter if I die? It's a lot of questions there. I mean, a lot of questions. So you just, I don't know, maybe I'm better off without the answers.
Yes, it'll work. Yes, it matters, okay? Trust me. Just stop asking so many questions and prepare yourself to feel better than you've ever felt in your life.
Doctor's orders, huh? All right, let's do it then. What's the schedule?
How about I check you in tomorrow? I mean, there's no point in wasting time.
Right. Otherwise I would back out, huh? Well, we'll go back to the ranch now?
Yeah, just give me 1 minute.
Okay. Well, listen, Doc, I'm gonna put myself in your hands.
Well, good. I'll see you in the morning, Jeb.
Okay. Be outside.
Okay. Well, Doctor, you take good care of my cousin-in-law.
Courtney, I'd like you to assist me in this operation.
Have in the hospital.
Don't worry about the hospital. I'll take care of them. After all, Jeb is your patient, isn't he?
Well, Elliot Carrington. Unwinding from a hard day's work, I presume?
You presume correctly. And constantly, I'd calculate. Do you ever stop presuming, Paige, and calculating?
Well, a girl has got to stay on top of things, you know, Elliot. After all, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. I try to keep mine busy devising ways to help my fellow men.
And that's why you've taken it upon yourself to help my son.
Your son? Oh, of course. You must mean Dennis. Oh, yes. No, I feel a real closeness for him, Elliot. Dennis has a special potential. I consider it my mission to tap it, to help him make use of all his resources, as it were.
How comforting to know you've taken an interest in him.
Oh, no need to thank me, Elliot. I know you're very attached to Dennis and want only the best for him. You know, Elliot, men can be so cold and distant from one another. It's very touching to see two men like you and Dennis relating as friends.
As father and son.
Oh, of course. You're a man of the world and a very accomplished fellow. I'm sure that Dennis will always look up to you as a sort of father figure.
As his father.
I know exactly what you mean, Elliot. You're talking about that feeling that occurs when you get so close to someone that you feel you must surely be related to them by blood, even when you're not. I felt that for a few very special people whose paths I've crossed. Well, for example, Alex Wheeler, my boss. I presume you've met.
We've already established that you presume correctly, Paige.
Well, at any rate, Alex is a very strong father figure in my life. Even though he is my father, of course. Too bad he isn't. What a dandy daddy he'd make. Talk about resources. Why, his daughter or son would never go wanting for anything, Elliot. And Alex is so kind and good-natured. Well, just like Dennis, actually. Strange. Now that I think about it, Dennis reminds me a lot of Alex. In many ways. Oh, but Elliot, I digress.
I doubt that, Paige. You're never very far from the point.
Well, be that as it may, I don't want to keep you. I presume you're in something of a hurry to leave our fair city, all things considered.
You presume incorrectly this time, which may be a first for you. I have considered all things, down to the last detail. That's why I won't be leaving. In fact, that's why I'm here at this very moment.
I saw Iris while I was in Houston, Daddy. She's absolutely glowing. So happy for her.
You're still having trouble with that groom she picked for herself, don't you?
Well, there's no love lost between Alex Wheeler and me, that's for sure. And you know why better than anybody. But Iris is my best friend, and anything that makes her happy makes me happy.
So my little girl is growing up, huh?
No grudges, Daddy. I just hope that Alex makes her as happy as she thinks he's going to.
I still think I hear a butt in there someplace.
Can the wife of Alex Wheeler compete with that empire that he's built for himself?
Is it a contest?
Daddy, you know that there are two things that every woman wants. First, she wants a man just like Alex Wheeler who can give her the universe. And two, she wants to be the center of that universe.
Wrong on both counts. You know, it's so long since you and I have had a talk like this together, just the two of us by ourselves. I didn't realize how far off the track you'd strayed.
I think I'm in a better position to talk about what women want than you are.
Well, that's where you're wrong. I've known a couple of women in my time. I feel entitled to say what I think they might be concerned about. You know, a woman doesn't have to be the center of her man's life 24 hours a day.
I think that's exactly where she should be.
No, a woman doesn't want to own a man. You put that spoon down and come over on the couch. I want to talk to you a little bit. A woman doesn't want her man to be a toy soldier for her amusement, to march up and down to any tune she whistles.
Daddy, you told me 100 times that a man's love for his wife should be the center of his life.
And I'll say it again. But they don't have to be like Siamese twins. They carry their love for each other inside them wherever they go, but they don't have to go off together all the time. He's got his work and she's got hers. And they come together when the day's work's done.
Well, with Kevin, the day's work never ended. And I'm just afraid that that's what it's going to be like for Iris and Alex.
Now, look, we're not talking about Iris and Alex. I'm talking about you. We both know that Kevin wasn't the right man for you. But we also know that you had just a little bit to do with the problem of his working hours. You might even have had a hand in driving him to work the way he did.
And you keep reminding me.
Because I don't want you to forget for the next time. You don't want a man to feel he's your prisoner. Don't want him to feel that he can never be out of your sight. Now, that's one of your demands. What was the other one? Oh, yeah. All that tomfoolery about a man having to offer you the universe.
Money, Daddy. It's a fact of life. It gives you freedom. You can afford fun, the pleasures in life.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to be rolling in money, just so long as he does a good day's work and puts food on the table.
Well, as far as Iris is concerned, we don't have to worry about that because she's got Mr. Moneybags himself.
Now, will you please stop dragging Iris into the conversation all the time? I'm worried about you. What's going to happen if you go off with your head full of these tomfool notions? You're never going to find a man who's right for you.
Honey, the man in my life is going to have to do a little more than put food on the table. I mean, what's the good of meat and potatoes if there isn't a little spice? Home and hearth, that's just fine, but if I spend too much time at home, well, I start feeling that I'm missing something. I know that somewhere out there the music is playing. Somewhere out there the wine is flowing, and that's where I want to be. I don't have to tell you that. Hmm? You and me, we're like two peas in a pod.
Apples and oranges from the sound of it.
Oh, come on, Daddy. You know you like the goodies in life. You like great food, traveling.
No, listen to me. All of that flowing wine and glittery glamour carries a very high price tag if you're not careful.
Trying to get the good things in life? Oh, what could that cost me?
A man who really loves you. Babies.
I found out something about that, Stryker.
What?
The stork really doesn't bring them. Rabbit stew.
What?
Oh, Daddy, honey, I want a family. I want to have a whole bunch of kids running around. I want those things. But it's like rabbits do. You have to catch the rabbit first.
But in order to do that, you gotta set that snare just right. Else you're likely to go hungry.
Somebody in here hungry? Hey, open up, Lena. You're being catered by Marshall Kitchens. Whew. Oh, hope everybody's got a good appetite. That's right.
Well, Alex. Oh, how very good to see you. Well, I'm sure you two have lots to talk about. So, excuse me?
Mm-hmm. I've spoken with Iris.
Isn't it customary for a betrothed couple to be in rather close communication?
Dennis has decided to separate completely from his mother, if you are persuaded to leave town. I figured you helped him arrive at that decision.
My son needed no help, Wheeler. I only relayed the gist of my last conversation with you. His decision was his own choice. A decision from the heart.
You leveled with him about the Cambodian incident?
The gist, Wheeler. Just the gist, not the gory details. The incident, as you so discreetly phrase it, is not a matter of record. It's your speculation, your fantasy, your wish, perhaps.
It hit a nerve, Carrington. No fantasy can do that. Only something very real. And I told you I would understand exactly what really happened when you escaped from that.
From hell, Wheeler. You may well end up in hell when your time comes, but you haven't been there yet. I have. You come back and talk to me about understanding it when you've been there and lived to remember it.
Most of us have visited hell in one form or another, Carrington. I've been there in the past, but I plan a very different life for Iris and me and for Dennis. And I mean to have it. At any rate, Iris has asked me to give you some more time to pull your life together before you leave Houston. I've agreed.
How kind. Two saints. Now I truly understand what is meant by a match made in heaven.
You have until we return from our wedding trip. At least a month.
Very well.
I expect you'll be gone by then.
A month? Certainly. It won't even take that long.
Good.
It'll be sooner than you think. Much, much sooner than you think.
You crazy punk, are you trying to ruin me?
It's you trying to ruin me, old buddy.
My lord, you're drunk as a skunk. Can't you stay sober for one day? Wait until after the wedding. You can stay drunk for a month on champagne after that.
Now you listen! Oh, buddy. I thought this whole thing out. I want to know who in the world you're going to get crazy enough to take a pot shot at Alex Wheeler on his...
Wheeler, you and I have something to get settled.
Dennis. What in God's name are you doing here, son?
Don't call me that. As for God's name, I think you gave up the right to use that a long, long time ago.
All right. What shall we call you? Burglar, then? Is that the word? I'm sure your mother didn't raise you to break into other people's office.
Look, I'd say let's leave Mom's name out of this. But that would be a little ridiculous, wouldn't it, since you're about to marry her? Anyway, Mom's involved with what I have to say to you.
I know what you have to say, Dennis. Don't bother.
Hey, it's no bother to me. And if it bothers you, well, sure, you can call your dogs or your guards or whatever. But until they get here, you're going to have to listen to me.
No guards. I'll give you 5 minutes to say your piece. That's more time than I give anybody else. Go on.
Yeah, well, listen, you may be Mr. Big around here and everything. I know that. You own half of Houston. Half of Texas, for all I know.
2/3.
Look, I don't care how big you are. I'm giving you a warning. You leave my father alone. I may not have any money or any power, but I can get to you, Wheeler. I know just how to reach you. If you give Elliot Carrington one more moment of misery, I will. Oh, I will. I swear.
Well, I enjoyed the visit, old son. You got a nice place here. And if you take my advice, you'll be satisfied and not cause anybody no trouble.
I told you, man. I'm on my way to being a partner here.
And I say you're on your way back to Huntsville if you go through with that crazy fake assassination attempt. This guy Wheeler, it's obvious he's a big fish, and he eats little fish like you with one gulp. Good night, Billy Joe.
You're, Billy Joe, huh?
Yes, sir. Billy Joe Wright, at your service.
A friend of yours told me to say hello. Clipper Curtis.
You know Mr. Curtis?
Yeah, we work together at KVI-KTV. In fact, I'm on my way back to the office now to finish up some work I left. I'll tell him I saw you.
Yeah, do that.
Anything else?
What?
Anything else you want me to tell him?
Yeah. Tell him I ain't seen him in a while. Tell him to come by or give me a call. We got things to talk about.
I'll do it. Come by your place? Clipper know the address?
Just tell him I'll be here at the club till closing time.
Right. Night.
Bernie was right. I gotta get myself out of this fix somehow, or I'll get eaten up.
You find that amusing?
No. No, just curious. What you have to reach me with. What are we talking? Baseball bat here? 2x4? What?
I don't need that. I can reach you through my mother.
What are you saying?
It's simple. You back off my father. You give him a chance to start a new life here in Houston, or I'll...
Or what?
Or I'll do what I told my mother I would. I'll walk out of her life for as long as she stays with you. I won't go to the wedding. I won't see her at all. I won't even call her on the telephone.
Is that it?
No, that's not it. If you force my father out of town, I'll go with him. And once I leave Houston, I go for good.
You'd really do that?
I would.
For your father?
You bet your life. My father is the only reason I'm staying in Houston.
I thought you had a fiancée.
Yeah, well, that's finished. And it's none of your business anyway.
Aren't you concerned how badly this would hurt your mother if you do what you say?
I know.
You'll do it anyway.
With regrets, but I would. We both know that Mom survives.
She's not made of stone.
Look, I don't want to hurt my mother, but I won't see my father hurt. Mom's had me around for 25 years, but right now my father needs me more than she does.
You think so?
I know so. And if she allows you to go on tormenting my father,
She hasn't allowed me. We had a talk. I agreed to hold off, to let Carrington have his own time to decide when to leave Houston.
And you're not putting him under pressure to leave?
No, we spoke about it a little while ago. We met at the club upstairs. It's his decision.
Well, then I don't get it. Why did you start this mess to begin with?
I have my reasons. Good reasons.
Oh, yeah? What reasons could possibly be good enough for hounding my father after what he's been through?
My reasons are sufficient. I know I can't expect you to understand that now.
Not now and not ever, Mr. Wheeler. And if you go after my father again, I'll fight you. You understand me? I'm ready to fight you anytime you're ready to start it.
Your 5 minutes are up.
Well, I hope everybody in here's got a good appetite.
I don't remember sending out for dinner. Did you, Daddy?
Nope.
Since when did you, Texan Cossack start a delivery service, huh?
Hey, this is all right if I set this down somewhere?
Not yet.
Just being neighborly, that's all.
He doesn't just ride horses, he cooks, too. My Lord, Daddy, do you suppose that he cooked one of those horses?
Oh, Kate was fixing dinner and said she couldn't stand the idea of Stryker being up here and eating canned tuna fish and pork and beans, so she did up a little extra.
Oh, she did? Doesn't she know that I'm visiting?
Yeah, she does. Ooh, what's that you cooking? Smells interesting. You know, when I told her you were up here, she threw a little more in the pot. Said she didn't want you on her conscience either.
I guess Kate doesn't think I can boil water, is that it?
Yep.
I'll just bet you're the one who told her I couldn't. Well, it just shows that how little you two know about me.
That's no kind of a snare at all. You are never gonna catch you a rabbit.
Oh, a rabbit?
Oh, nothing, son. Just a little family joke. Excuse our bad manners.
I like rabbit myself, but I can't imagine anyone preferring it to Kate's baked hen with dressing.
Well, hens are smarter than rabbit any day of the week, and I'll prove it.
How's that?
You two, you just go sit on the porch, because Kate's hen is just going to have to wait until tomorrow.
Hey, listen.
What?
Well, listen again.
Yeah.
That's pretty, isn't it? That's the first fiddler down there, Max. That's the original fiddler down in the valley. He's been fiddling down there since before there was a human ear to hear or say thanks.
I can tell you that's why one cricket that doesn't know how to read a calendar should be on the ground right now, or wherever it is they go when the weather turns.
Oh, I guess he's just hanging around for one last look, that's all. One last look before he lets go of the summer.
Yeah, I reckon summer is the best time, isn't it?
Well, at my age, you learn to appreciate the autumn, too. Don't tell that cricket, but I think Rena's song is prettier.
Yes, Stryker, tell you something. You'll pardon me saying so, I mean, you being her daddy and all, but, right inside there is the damnedest woman I ever laid eyes on.
She is a caution, isn't she?
That she is. But I'm glad it didn't escape your notice.
Oh, hell, boy. I had a reputation for knowing what was what. But Rena, she's something else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You could go all the way to El Paso by way of Amarillo and back by way of Dallas and not see another one like her.
Hey, don't be selling her short on account of paternal modesty. Why don't you just make that Chicago by way of Seattle with a little run up to Bangor, Maine and back?
Oh, Lord, Lord. Why did I wait so long to come back here? If you knew how long it is since I've heard that girl singing, and how clear my mind is now.
Well, you've been a busy man.
Yeah. Making money. That's a sorry excuse, isn't it? And you know they had to cut the heart right out of me to make me slow down. I even like living slow like this. You reckon they gave me a wiser heart than the one they cut out of me?
You're shivering.
I know. I guess I'm just a little cold inside.
Oh,
I'll be all right, Grandma.
Of course you will. Now, you're smart enough to know that life doesn't always deal us a square and fair hand. But there's always another deal coming up.
Yeah, well, there are always those deals that life can't take back. For instance, when it deals you an older sister, well, that's the sister you're stuck with.
Oh, what does that mean?
Well, maybe Paige did me a favor, though. You know, otherwise I may have found out too late what kind of man Dennis really is.
Dawn, honey, you gotta remember. Now, you gotta keep it fixed in your thinking that a man is a lot different from a woman.
I know that, Grandma.
And I'm not just talking about the body either. The differences go deeper than that. Much deeper. Ways of thinking or not thinking. You know, folks nowadays seem to feel that we all spring from the same egg, but it isn't so. It's no use pretending that it is, and never was. Men are what they are, which means that sometimes they're not as quick to pick up on things as they might be.
Grandma, what does this have to do with what I saw?
What did you see, Dawn?
Well,
I'll tell you. You saw your sister, mean as a sidewinder, crooked as sin, parading around in a robe, acting her part.
Acting?
Yes, acting. Did you ever take the trouble to find out what really happened that night?
Grandma, it was obvious what happened that night.
Oh, it was it? Well, now, did you ever wonder if Paige really was with Dennis? Now, maybe. Just maybe she did sleep somewhere away from him, like he tried to tell you.
Grandma, it's no use.
All right. You're free to do as you like. But maybe Dennis wasn't the right one. Maybe you could do better.
That's not what I said.
It doesn't matter what you said. The way you're acting seems to have already decided. But if you do think that Dennis is worth putting yourself out for, go into town and try and find out once and for all
if your worst fears are true.
Well, great, then what?
And even if they are, which I personally doubt, where's your spunk, girl? Get mad. Find that sister of yours and slap her clean out of Harris County.
But Grandma!
But being ladylike doesn't just mean sitting on your hands, waiting for other folks to do what they're supposed to do. Now, what I have to say to you is this. If some floozy had been steaming around Will Marshall just after we got ourselves engaged, I'd have stomped her flat or whatever it would have taken to make my point. I cared too much about your grandfather to hand him over to some little piece of fluff that just happened to float past him.
Stomped her flat?
Well, honey, you gotta realize that stealing another woman's man is serious. It's worse than stealing a horse.
A horse? Grandma, that's crazy. You can't make that comparison. A man is not a horse.
No, you're right. Men aren't as smart or as easy to handle. But they have got their good points. And I'll be damned if I'd let another woman take my man away from me. Not a good one, anyway.
Well, I hadn't thought about things quite like that. Maybe I ought to take a trip into town.
Honey, you take the pickup first thing tomorrow morning.
Oh, Grandma, I don't know.
Now listen, maybe Dennis Carrington isn't worth the fight. Most of them aren't nowadays. But if I were you, I'd have me one more look.
Well, I never would have believed it.
What do you taste my coffee, honey?
Yeah, what is this anyway? It tastes great.
Oh.
I don't even know what I'm eating.
Who cares, boy? You know how long it is since I've had decent food like this. Oh, I tell you, I consider it to be a fringe benefit from a medical miracle. That's what it is. It's just delicious, baby. Thank you.
It's part of my womanly virtues, Daddy.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is definitely virtuous food. In fact, I'll have another helping of whatever it is.
I can clean house, too, Max, in case of an earthquake or other natural
That's good.
disasters. What do you think of that?
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
Enough?
Yeah, that's good. Well, I got to hand it to you. You got more size than I gave you credit for. So what is this anyway? What's this main dish called?
Les cervelles.
Les cervelles. That's French, huh? What's it mean?
It's a French delicacy, calf's brains.
Calf's brain?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's fine. That's fine. That's mighty good eating anyhow. Calf's brains.
Fixing for you any time, hon. Everybody, want coffee?
Oh, please.
Yeah, please, yeah.
You know, Max, there's a question that I've been meaning to ask you. You are at your prime. You know more about raising horses and cattle than anybody else around this part of the country.
Yeah.
Why have you never set up a place of your own where you could do very well for yourself?
Well, the reason is I like working for Kate. Good enough for my daddy. Guess you could say I'm carrying on a family tradition. Yeah. The fact of it is, Stryker, I never thought of doing anything different. Well, I guess I could say it's in the Decker blood to stay close to home, but now with Ricky and Terry in town and Elena chomping at the bit, I guess it's just in my blood.
Well, that's an answer that nobody could argue with. That's a fact. But what's in it for you?
I don't know. I never thought about it like that. I mean, I like my life.
Well, that's an argument nobody could ever question. But, let me ask you what's on my mind.
Sure,
anyway.
go ahead.
You don't have to go along with what I'm suggesting, but just hear me out,
Okay.
you know. I'm a man, happens to have money that's not doing me any good or anybody else. So I kind of keep my eye peeled for good investments, you know. If you would ever like to buy some land or, you know, become your own right hand, I'm good for a startup loan.
Oh, Striker, that's really generous of you,
Well,
but
you
I
don't have to decide anything now. Just, you know, think of it as an option. Well, for instance, I'm sure that Kate would let you have land that she wouldn't consider letting anybody else buy.
Well, I guess if it was all right with Kate, I suppose I could be persuaded to move down the line, say a mile or so from the Marshall place.
Listen to him. We're having dinner with a regular world traveler here. You sure that it wouldn't be too dislocating for you, honey, huh?
No, I'm not sure at all.
Haven't you ever been anywhere?
Yeah. I went, where'd I go? Went to Dallas once. Didn't like it, though. All everybody did there was talk about money, so I came home. What are you laughing at me for? From what I hear, you were pretty anxious to shake that Bay City dust off your slippers and get back here yourself.
Well, you're right about that. I guess I'm just a little old stick looking for a place in the Texas mud.
I wouldn't touch that for all the tea in China.
I'm gonna take some sugar.
Look, since you're talking about moving, how would you like to get a little practice in?
Now what?
How about buzzing down to Houston with me?
Buzz? I don't come equipped with wings.
Well, what's wrong, honey? Is Houston too far for you?
Yeah? I usually don't go there unless I got a reason. You got one?
I sure do. Friday night, the most glorious thing in the world is going to happen. Iris Carrington is marrying Alex Wheeler. Since my daddy here doesn't feel like socializing yet, I'm going to need an escort. Interested?
Sure. Sounds good. What time we leaving?
Closing time. Go home. Top of the world.
Billy Joe?
Oh, Lena?
Yeah, Elena. I just wanted to tell you thanks for ruining my life.
Huh?
Why'd you do it, Billy Joe? Why'd you go and tell Nita everything? I couldn't believe it. Why'd you have to go and tell her that I was going to meet you that night at the Western Art Gallery? You have ruined everything.
Well, now, join the club.
Oh, now you're going to make a joke about it, huh? Well, it's not funny, Billy Joe.
No, it ain't. Look, babe, I'm sorry. Really, I am. When I told Nita all that stuff, I was just making one last stand, trying to keep our marriage going. Didn't do any good. Turns out, nothing really would have worked. See, she's already got her own next man worked out. Guess who? That's right. Your cop brother. He's probably serenading her right now at her window. So don't get mad at me, honey child. My life's ruined too. So we come out even.
Even? Not hardly, Billy Joe. I mean, at least you've got your freedom. You can go wherever you want to. But look at me. I'm stuck out here in this place like it's a jail or something. I mean, I didn't like it much before, but I certainly don't like it now.
Yeah? Well, that's too bad. I'll tell you, I never meant to cause you any grief. You know that? I like you. the rest of your family gives me a heartache.
Yeah, me too. Well, what are you doing? I mean, well, it's over with you, Anita, huh?
Yeah, she threw me out like a sack of garbage. I got me a place, though, at the Marigold Trailer Park. Cute little place. Not bad. Just temporary till I get my good toehold on the big time. I got a big deal I've been working on.
Big deal. What am I doing sympathizing with you anyway? It's your big mouth that got me into this whole mess in the first place.
My big mouth or your crummy family? Hey, maybe it's breakaway time, you know? I mean, I tell you what, why don't you come see me? Maybe I can help you out.
Oh, no, Billy Joe. You've been nothing but bad news to me.
Bad news, huh? Well, you can't count on them. They'll leave you in a lurch every time when you're down. Nita, Elena, Curtis. Yeah, Curtis too.
Come on, Maggie. It's just a matter of time before this pain's worth its weight in gold. But you can have it for 3 double rides. You can hang it up over your bar there. It'll be an inspiration to future generations. That beatific smile, I take that for a yes.
So, Ricky, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. Doing fine now that I see you back where you belong. You sure are looking good, Nita.
Now there goes a fine young man.
Yeah, if you like him hard-headed and strong-minded and ready to fight at the drop of a hat.
Say now.
Not to mention the fact that he's riveted to this dusty old lanyard, I'd say that he's got about every virtue a girl could want.
I don't think you're being fair to old Max.
Honey, I don't think even he would argue with that description.
What kind of a fella are you looking for? A dancing master with hands like a baby? Max is all Texas. I tell you, if I went in for the sport of matchmaking...
Which you don't do you, dear?
No, never. But I'll tell you one thing. I'd rather have you fall off a horse with Max Decker than win in a racing car with Justin Marshall.
I hope you're feeling as fine as you look.
Well, I'm feeling much better, thank you.
Here.
To tell you the truth, I am feeling much better now that you're here.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, that's the best news I've heard all day. And, no leftover problems from the fall you took?
Well, no, I got a clean bill of health. I'm supposed to be as good as new.
Supposed to be?
Yeah, well, that's what the doctor said.
Yeah, well, I understand. Feeling kind of off balance, breaking up with Billy Joe and all.
I know you probably think it's silly, but...
No, I don't, really. I never did think you were silly for trying to make something out of that marriage, or for the things you felt for your husband. And it's just that I never saw you getting much back for all your trouble.
I tried. I mean, I tried real hard.
I know you did, Nita.
I just didn't have any more feelings left, you know?
Yeah, I know. But one day soon, you're going to have to come back. Try and find yourself some new feelings. I think you're going to find just what you've been needing, too.
Oh, I don't know, Ricky. That day, it seems so far away.
No, it doesn't have to be.
I mean, look at me. I mean, my body's all healed, but inside I feel all broken up. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to put the pieces back together
Yeah, well,
again.
don't go giving up.
Well, I've wasted so much time.
You know, I can't stand to see you looking so down. Hey, look. My boss, Alex Wheeler, is getting married tomorrow. They're going to have a big bash up at the top of the World Club. Come with me, will you, Nita, please? Look, you can't, you can't let yourself be down, and you can't be thinking about Billy Joe all the time and all the pain that he's caused you. Will you? Come with me, please?
I can't. I'm sorry.
No, you can't mope forever.
No, that's not it.
Well, why then?
Billy Joe's gonna be working there that night.
Look, you can't spend the rest of your life in fear of coming across him either. Now, he's not going to try anything, and if he does...
No, I'm not afraid of him. It's just that even though we're separated, I don't want to hurt him anymore. Can you understand that?
Not quite. Yeah, I guess I do.
You see, he's real sensitive. I know he doesn't act like it, but he is. And I don't want to flaunt it in his face that I'm not his anymore.
Yeah, I see.
But I would like to go out with you sometime.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'd like that. I really would.
You're Alex Wheeler. I have loved you in my heart all these long years, as you have me.
Alex, I know this is a night you'd rather be alone, but so somberly in the dark, the night before your wedding?
One good question deserves another. What are you doing here at work so late at night?
My excuses are in order, I'll have you know. Wanted to make sure all your last-minute business would be cleared up and ready for you to look over tomorrow, so you'd have one less thing on your mind. You do remember business, don't you? You used to be in the oil transport business?
Yeah? Here, sit down. Do you realize that you're the daughter that I always wanted and wish I had?
Yes, I know. You always let me know. You always helped me out. You always trusted me. But Alex, I wonder if you know how deeply happy for you I am. Tomorrow is everything, isn't it? The beginning of a life.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the life I always wanted. The life that I almost despaired of. The one that was interrupted in 1955.
I was 3.
Good Lord. Am I that old?
Nah, not anymore.
No. You're right. Tomorrow, life begins for real. The life of the heart begins. You know, Terry, it's strange and wonderful, but I feel like I've been touched by some special grace. Tomorrow, my bride and I... Beautiful words. My bride. We're going to have the life we always wanted so long ago and so far away.
Sounds like a story from a book of fairy tales.
Yes. It's hard to believe. It's like some sort of transformation, though, isn't it? Just a few months ago, I was a man of business. Now I feel like I'm that young seaman again who'd wished he was a Texan, who wanted to be as rich as a king.
Richer than most.
It's crazy, isn't it? Crazy and wonderful. You know, money means nothing to me. Iris is the only treasure I need. The only one I want. And tomorrow, she'll be mine.
I'm so happy for you.
Terry, I hope that one day you'll have the same feeling that I have tonight. And you will. You will.
Thanks again. Good night.
Wonderful. Lively, direct, all the things they try to teach the kids in communications. I'm beginning to think it's something you just can't teach.
Well, thank you. It means a lot to me if you think I'm doing a good job.
You're doing a terrific job, and thank you. I'd like you to cover the game next week, too.
Delighted.
Good. Well, it's getting late, so I think I'm going to get ready to head home.
Me too. I just want to straighten out my new desk. Good night, Samantha.
Good night.
Clipper Curtis?
That away.
You never called or came by the club.
I've been broadcasting a game all evening. What are you trying to do, man? Coming here like this, carrying that thing? You crazy punk, are you trying to ruin me?
It's you trying to ruin me, old buddy.
My lord, you're drunk as a skunk. Can't you stay sober for one day? Wait until after the wedding. You can stay drunk for a month on champagne after that.
Now you listen. Oh, buddy. I thought this whole thing out. I want to know who in the world you're going to get crazy enough to take a pot shot at Alex Wheeler on his wedding day, huh? You want to get it done? Do it yourself. Here, man.
Just get out of here. You go home and sober up now. I'll come by tomorrow morning early and we can talk.
No more talking!
Yes, you are. You still staying at the Marigold Trailer Park?
Yeah, but I'm telling you, it ain't gonna work. It's no good. I ain't gonna get myself blown away so you get back on the top of the world. I am crazy!
Listen to me, punk. You do what I tell you, or you'll wind up at the bottom of the world. They'll lock up your fat little face in Huntsville prison and throw away the key for good.
Yeah?
Yeah. And you know they will. Now go home. You stay there.